Welcome to this MLS Listings webinar on listing management. In this webinar, we will focus on the three options you have once you sign a listing agreement, those being filing an exclusion, our members only option, or inputting an active listing. Choosing the correct option should ensure your compliance with not only MLS listings rules, but also with NAR's clear cooperation policy. We'll begin by looking at the exclusion process. MLS listings rules require you to submit your listing within 3 days of signing your listing agreement. However, that's not always a realistic option depending on the specific property. You may have renovations to be done, or maybe the seller simply doesn't want the property on the market until a future date. Whatever the reason, filing an exclusion allows you to have a listing agreement in place without listing the property. To file the exclusion, we'll start by clicking on the Manage Listings button. To file your exclusion, click on the Add Listing button in the top right corner and select the New Exclusion option. Select what type of property you're excluding, and then begin by filling in the appropriate fields. Once you've selected your listing office, you should see your name automatically appear. The exclusion date is the date you're filing the exclusion, and then just tell us how long you plan on keeping the property off the market for. There is no time limitation on the exclusion. Once you've entered the date you and your seller have agreed upon to keep the property off market for, and then just enter the property address. You'll notice as you type the property address, the system will automatically give you options to find the property. Once you've selected the property address, just click the search button. You'll see a realist tax record pop up with the APN, square footage, and other characteristics of the property. Make sure the information is correct and then click Import Realist Data. You'll now see that the fields below have been automatically filled in for you. While CAR and PRDS each have their own forms for exclusions, we also have the MLS Listings exclusion form linked at the bottom. Finally, confirm that your broker and seller have signed the actual form and then click Submit. You've now filed your exclusion, but remember that according to NAR's clear cooperation policy, once you market the property outside of your office, you're required to then list the property within the next 24 hours. This leads us into our next category of members only. Members only is considered an active listing and satisfies the NAR clear cooperation policy. Its footprint, however, is much smaller than submitting a regular active listing, as we do not syndicate members-only listings, and they can only be found within Matrix for MLS listing subscribers. There are two types of members-only listings: members-only show and members-only no-show. Members-only show has the same rules as any other active listing. Photos are required as well as showings. Members-only do not show obviously does not require photos, and you cannot show the property or solicit offers. There are no showing restrictions on members-only show listings. Do not show listings will not accrue days on market, while members-only show listings will not display days on market until it's either changed to a regular active listing or it's changed to sold, canceled, or expired. So if you're planning on doing any marketing, but you need to satisfy the NAR clear cooperation policy, but aren't quite ready for full syndication like you would in a regular active listing, the members-only category might be the ideal solution for you. To input a members-only listing, click on the Manage Listings button. From here, click on the Add Listing button on the top right and select the new Members Only option. You'll see a pop-up screen reminding you the listing won't show up on sites such as Zillow, Realtor.com, and others. It will not be shared with other MLSs. However, you can freely advertise the listing to the public, clients, and brokers or agents. Just click on the box acknowledging you understand the information and click OK. The next box will ask you if the listing is available for showing. Just click on the box indicating whether the listing is available for showing or not. Then select what type of property it is. From here, you'll need to input the required information in each category. Fields with the asterisk next to them are required fields. All of these categories and fields are exactly the same as when you input a regular active listing. So we'll go into more detail in each of these fields in our next section when we look at how to enter a regular active listing. A regular active listing gets full syndication to broker and agent sites. and other MLS sites as well. To enter a regular active listing, click on Manage Listings. Then select the Add Listing dropdown and select New Listing. Select the type of property it is, and now we can begin inputting the specific property characteristics. Before we begin, it's important to note that the listing draft we're creating automatically saves after you input a field. Only the fields with asterisks are required. However, buyer's agents will often search Matrix using the additional fields filters to search for listings with specific characteristics and features. So it's important to be as accurate and thorough as possible. If you wish to only input the required fields, you can click on the Show Required Fields Only button, and the system will only show you the fields required to submit the listing. We'll start the listing by selecting our listing office and the building type. You'll notice as we select each field, a tip section on the right will give a brief description of the options for that specific field. Once you select your listing office, you'll notice that your name will appear as a listing agent, and an additional field for co-listing office will appear. If there is no co-listing office, just move on to Part 2, Property Overview. In the Property Overview section, you're required to enter the APN, zip, and county to pull up the property. You can, however, search for the property by simply entering the property address and clicking Realist Data. A pop-up window will display with the Realist tax record. You can either ignore this and manually input each field, or click on the Import Realist Data, which will auto-populate each of these fields with the values shown. If you wish to only import some of the data, just uncheck the box for that specific field. When I click Import Realist Data, it will now import all of the data except for the ones I unchecked. When you scroll down, those fields have been manually populated via the Realist tax records. You'll see fields such as secondary living space descriptions and secondary living space square footage. The living space field should only contain livable space from the primary structure. If you have a secondary living space, such as an ADU, a guest house, or some other structure, you can select it and then enter the square foot for that secondary living space structure. For schools, we do require the school district be displayed. However, the specific elementary, middle, or high school name is not required. Once you're done inputting the rest of the fields, just click Next Step. We're now in the listing details portion of the listing. In this section, you'll need to input your list date, list price, and the expiration date of your listing agreement, as well as any special listing conditions, such as an auction or short sale. If it's just a normal listing, you can select the Not Applicable option. The next two sections will cover both the interior and exterior features of the property. While you're filling in these fields, you'll notice you can select more than one option, so make sure to select all the characteristics that apply. Once you're done filling in these fields, just click the next step to move on to the exterior features. Next, let's look at the community info section. This section will focus on if the property is in an HOA, a new construction, or property in a community. If you select yes as an option, for instance, as an HOA, you'll notice the HOA name, HOA fee, as well as what the fee covers is required information. Now let's take a look at the marketing and photo section. All MLS listings must include a property photograph within 1 day of posting on MLS listings. And one photo of the front of the structure is required, though it doesn't have to be your main primary photo. Just click on the camera to upload photos from your computer. You can see that I've uploaded a few photos here. To change the order of the photos, just drag and drop the photos and place them in the order you desire. You'll note that the first photo is the cover photo, or your primary photo. To delete a photo, just click on the trash bin. This just moves the deleted photo into your recycle bin. If you wish to restore that photo, just click the recycle bin and click on the Restore Photo option. You can see that photo is now back into my stored images. There are no limits in the number of photos you can post on your listing. In order to manage your open house or broker tour, you'll need to complete your listing first and submit it. Once it's active, you can then go back in and add your open house and your tour information. We allow links for both a branded and unbranded virtual tour, as well as 3D and drone tours. The branded virtual tour field should not have any contact info, photos of yourself, or your brokerage logo. If you're using a vendor such as Tour Factory, they should be able to provide you with both the branded and unbranded links upon request. The public remarks are shown in consumer, client, and agent reports. They should only include the condition and description of the property. Contact information and showing instructions are not allowed in the public remarks. Public remarks are essentially your marketing section. The final portion under marketing and photos is the distribution preferences. We ask a simple question: do you want this listing on the internet? Yes or no? If you change it to no, then we will not syndicate the listing in our data feeds to agent and broker sites. It will be only available in Matrix for our subscribers. Selecting yes means you would like to display your listing on VAL and IDX websites such as Zillow, Trulia, and other syndication partner websites selected by your broker. For the VAL IDX AVM and the VAL IDX comments, you can choose whether or not to allow public portals to display their own AVM or automated valuation models, along with your list price for the property. In the For Agent section, you'll be asked to input the commission and type. Make sure you only put in the percentage or dollar amount that you're offering to the buyer's agent. Do not put in your total compensation. You'll see when I put in, for instance, 6%, the system will give me a warning and ask me if that is the correct compensation being offered. You can toggle between a percentage and a dollar amount to the right. The private remarks section should include information for agents and brokers, such as showing info. Unlike the public remarks, which we syndicate, the private remarks are confidential, do not get syndicated, and are intended only for MLS listings agents and brokers. Further below is the disclosures and documents section. If you have a link containing your disclosures, you can insert the URL link below. Also make sure you fill in the showing information below. Once you're done filling in who the property is occupied by and any showing contact information you'd like to disclose, as well as showing instructions, just click the next step to verify your listing contact information. You'll want to verify that your listing contact information is correct. Once you've done so, just click the next step to begin submitting your listing to the MLS. The final step before submitting your listing is the Verify category. You'll see on the right side of the screen any errors or required fields that must be fixed before the system will allow you to submit your listing. Just click on each error, and the system will take you directly to that field. You can also use the keyword search above to jump to a field you're looking for. Once you've fixed all the errors, you will then be able to submit your listing. Just click the Create Listing button. Once submitted, it'll take about 5 to 10 minutes before it's live on Matrix. Now that you've listed the property, you can make changes to the listing by clicking on the Manage Listings button. On the left side of the screen, you'll see the various listing statuses. The ones with an M indicate you've listed in the Members Only Show category, while any with the slash through the M designate Members Only No Show. Just select the Active status to display your active listings. Click on the Select an Action button to see all the options you have for the listing. From here, you can choose to edit the listing, change the status, add a virtual open house, input tour and open house information, manage your photos, and input links to your virtual tours. Make sure to check out our Pro Support page for additional videos on a full range of topics. And don't forget to click that subscribe button on our MLS Listings YouTube page.